This sign is a symbol of pride, the pride you take in keeping Minnesota roadsides clean and litter-free. Every year, thousands of volunteers like you make Minnesota's Adopt a Highway program a successful example of public-private cooperation. To thank you for your hard work, the Minnesota Department of Transportation is proud to erect this sign. It tells others that your organization has made a long-term commitment to keeping Minnesota beautiful. The work you do on the roadside can be dangerous. In addition to being alert to high-speed traffic, you need to know what you might encounter in the ditches and what you should avoid. Please follow these instructions carefully. Your safety is very important to us.
The most important message when we're going out on the road, for anybody for any reason, is the traffic. It should be your number one preoccupation. Secondary should be the job you're out there for. I want you scanning traffic constantly. Don't walk for very long periods with your head down. You need to look up and see what's going around. You need to see where you are, and you need to stay as far away from the roadway as possible.
This is a work day, so wear your work clothes. Choose blue jeans or other sturdy work pants, and long sleeves will protect you from scratches and sunburn. Your hands and feet are especially vulnerable to injury. Wear heavy gloves, preferably leather, for picking up dirty or broken items. And wear your work boots, hiking boots, or heavy leather shoes. They can help prevent turned ankles or punctures. And don't forget a bright hat or a visor. It'll protect you from the sun, plus it will make you more visible to passing motorists. It's a good idea to bring along your sunglasses, sunscreen, and some insect repellent. And don't forget a plentiful supply of drinking water. It's very important to stay hydrated while you work. And finally, wear your orange safety vest. MnDOT requires it. In fact, you should put it on before you arrive at your site. The purpose of the vest is so that motorists can see you. It's important that you be able to see motorists, but it's critical that motorists see you. Your group leader should bring along a first aid kit and a cell phone. Everyone in your group should know the location of the nearest hospital and know how to get there in an emergency. And make sure everyone's tetanus shots are up to date. Of course, you'll need to bring along a supply of trash bags. Your leader will get them ahead of time from your MnDOT contact. Schedule your pickups when the weather is good. If it looks like rain or fog, choose another date. Motorists have much less control when the roads are wet, and even a light fog impedes their sight distance. Don't let your presence on the roadside increase the chances of a crash.
When you come out to clean up your roadside, I want you to park any place but on the roadway. Use that only as a last resort. So if you can find an adjacent parking lot, some way to get off the roadway, that is perfect. And then walk yourself. Even if it's a little bit of a walk yourself out to the road. We won't have that added distraction of the car parked. If you have to, take it one more step. Find a little used road, a field approach where you can go in deep, or possibly on the side of the road if you have a large shoulder, and get in as deep as you can and turn your flashers on. Make sure when you do this, I don't want you leaving any doors open, trunks open where you're putting debris or getting equipment out, and of course not your hood open.
It's best to carpool to the site. This reduces the number of vehicles parked on the roadside. The best solution is to appoint a designated driver who can drop you off and pick you up again when you're done. Otherwise, find a place to park that's safe and visible well off the traveled way. If possible, choose a parking lot or a seldom used approach. If you must park on the shoulder, park to the far right of the white line so your vehicle does not encroach onto the driving lane. Always park on the same side of the road where crews are working and turn on your warning lights. Never park on an interstate highway. If you've adopted an interstate segment, contact MnDOT for specific parking instructions. Now you're ready to pick. Here's a simple way to keep your bag open while you work. Find or make a stick that's 1 to 2 feet long and a couple of inches wide. Place the stick on the outside of your bag a few inches from the top edge. Fold the bag over the stick toward the outside, then fold it again. You can now hold the bag by the stick to keep your bag open while you pick. Some roadsides are dangerous for pedestrians. Never try to retrieve litter that is lodged in bridges, on retaining walls, at the bottom of steep embankments, in open water, or in places where you'd have to cross the highway to retrieve it. Always stay with your group. You'll be easier to see if you're in a group of 5 to 6 than if you're working alone. Your group should work on one side of the road at a time. Whenever possible, face the oncoming traffic. Always stay alert for traffic and never dart into the traffic lane. Never horse around on the roadside. It creates a distraction to drivers and can cause a crash. You'll need to pay attention to the traffic and the job at hand, so leave your headsets at home. And when you get tired, take a break. While you're picking up litter, watch for dangerous objects and handle them very carefully. Be alert for broken glass, sharp metal objects, and boards with exposed nails. Don't put them in the bag if they could poke through and injure someone. Just lay the item next to the bag.
As an Adopt a Highway volunteer, your number one priority is your own personal safety. If you come across hazardous waste, anything suspicious, or you are unsure of, do not pick it up. Note its location and report it to MnDOT.
Abandoned barrels or containers with unknown contents can be very dangerous. Do not touch them. Labels do not necessarily correspond to the contents. If you find a container with an unknown substance in it, make a note of its location by identifying the number on the nearest milepost. Then call your MnDOT contact with the location and description of the item. Mark the location with a filled trash bag. If you see abandoned containers or other questionable material, always approach them from uphill and upwind. Never touch medical waste, such as bandages or needles. And of course, never touch objects with radioactive labels or homemade explosive devices. If you find weapons of any kind, leave them alone and call 911. Other items you should avoid are gas cans, used oil, antifreeze, car batteries, fluorescent bulbs, and hypodermic needles. Again, mark the location with a bag, note the nearest milepost number, and call MnDOT. You may run across dead animals in the ditch. Never pick them up. If the animal is small, just leave it for scavengers. If the animal is large, call your MnDOT contact with the location, and state crews will take care of it. If you come upon a pile of wood chips or compost, you can assume it is covering a dead deer. Just leave it alone, and nature will take care of it. Methamphetamine waste is extremely dangerous. If you come across any of the following items, do not touch them. Contact MnDOT for removal. Propane cylinders from gas grills. The brass fittings may have turned blue or green. They are used to transport anhydrous ammonia and can explode, causing burns or severe respiratory damage. Pill residue. It's a pinkish putty-like substance. Respirator masks. Rubber gloves. Rubber hoses and clamps. Sheets and pillowcases stained pink or red. Corning or Pyrex containers with rubber hoses attached. Solvents of any kind. Again, if you find any items that could be meth waste, report them immediately to MnDOT. Never touch them. It's a sad fact that more and more adopters are finding containers of urine tossed onto the roadside. Urine is a hazardous substance and should not be taken to a landfill. Therefore, you should not bag containers of urine or any other biological waste. Leave the containers where you find them and notify a MnDOT representative. Place a filled bag next to the container to mark the location. Your group also can help reduce stormwater pollution by watching for illicit discharge of materials in the ditch. These illegal materials can include wastewater from industrial activities, sanitary sewer wastes, or liquid materials such as paint or oil that a homeowner or someone has dumped in a stormwater system. If you notice either standing or flowing water with unusual odors, colors, or sheens on the water surface as you walk in the ditches, please note the location of discharge, a description of the material, such as odor or color, and the time and date you witnessed it. This information is needed for further investigation. Do not touch the material, take any sample of the material, or try to track it to an upstream location. This will keep you safe and ensure any evidence collected is handled properly. When your bags are full, place several of them together near the shoulder, but not on the shoulder. If you find a large object, place it next to the bags. If it's too heavy to move, mark the location with a bag.
If you remember one thing from this safety video, is that those cars are traveling 50 to 75 miles an hour. They are your prime focal point. Take them seriously, abide by all the precautions given to you here, and you can make it as safe as possible.
Once again, wear proper work clothes and always wear your orange safety vest. Always work in groups and watch for dangerous objects and situations. Avoid hazardous materials and call MnDOT to report anything questionable. MnDOT is very proud of you and of all our Adopt a Highway volunteers. Thank you, and remember to think safety first.